everyone. Today we have the Novation King on here today for everybody to tune into. So tell me, Richard, who is Novation King and who is Richard?
Yo, appreciate you having me on, man. So I'm just some guy from Phoenix, Arizona, right? I sold Kirby vacuums for 9 years. I've done a lot of things in life, right? I've had many occupations, some better than others. And I came across wholesale real estate. And long story short, been in the game now coming up on 5 years. I worked for Sean Terry for a number of years. I worked with Corey Geary, and I ran into this niche called novations, where basically you can take a property, you can hire a realtor, sell it on the MLS, promise the seller a net amount, accept a buyer with a loan, and it completely blew my mind, right? Something every wholesaler always wanted to do, but we didn't know what was possible. And, I really just dug into that, and, I had a strong sales background and kind of developed a unique pitch, unique way to present it. That's very low friction. It's very service-based, where it's something where, we treat the people well, we give them speed and convenience, a great experience. And, we agree to net price, then we make a profit on top of that. So it's an awesome model. And I've really just dug into that. And I've got the Rainmaker community training course. We got over 300 people in there right now. Some of the top wholesalers around the country. I've had a chance to work with lots of teams around the country as well and do private training, consultation calls. We do a ton of JV deals every month, all through Instagram, just organically, word of mouth, and platforms, like cool people like you that invite me on to speak, So it's an exciting time, man. I'm very, very grateful you brought me on here. So
No, that's fantastic. You just touched so many pinpoints, so many topics. That is fantastic. More of what is Novation, just because we have a ton of people on here that don't even know what it is. And I know you touched it briefly, but if you could dive deeper into it and just dumb it down for anyone that's just getting into the game, just, you know what I mean? Just starting into it. And, they might think it's a little bit tricky to get inside this kind of world of novations. What is it for them in a simplified manner?
Sure. So it's just like wholesaling, the way that you get your leads and you get in front of motivated sellers. So basically it requires a motivated seller that is looking for speed and convenience and willing to sell their property at a discount for that. So the actual word novation means to replace one contract with another. And there's lots of different ways to do novations, just like there's lots of different ways to wholesale. So I call it the Rainmaker method, what we do, because basically we bring in the top people in the area, and we're very high level ourselves, the way we have systems and processes, and we can really give the seller a good experience and good certainty. So we bring everybody together. We hire a listing agent there. We handle any repairs that are necessary. Normally it's pretty minimal on the ones we select. And we can sell to retail buyers. So we can sell both to cash buyers, and some of these properties, they're not livable. They won't pass inspection. We'll sell it as is. And other ones, they are livable, or they may need just some minor repairs. And as long as, the deal makes sense, we're willing to go in there. We give the seller hands-off experience. We handle all the legwork, and we earn a profit in between. And the seller knows that from the beginning. So it's, it's a fair exchange. And it's only a fit for certain sellers, right? They have to be motivated for it to be a match for them, because most people are just going to list with the normal agent and go through the normal process. But this is for those people where it doesn't fit into a cash offer box. They can't sell it for pennies on the dollar, but they are willing to give up some margin for the hands-off experience. And that's where we can step in, fill the need. We get to connect with great realtors around the country, and they handle like so much of the legwork and make everything easy for us. And yeah, it's a win-win for everybody.
That's fantastic. And I mean, I'm sure that the story of your first novation was probably spectacular, and probably tons of objections and hurdles to overcome. Tell us a little bit about your first ever novation.
Man, to be honest with you, I can't pinpoint my first novation. It was with Corey Geary, because that's where I learned it when I was working with him. I'm trying to think of my first one though. That's crazy. I can name a notable one with him. So we had one that was in a small town in Illinois,
Mhm.
and basically the seller needed to move quick. It was almost a complete property, and where it had been remodeled, and the only thing left was the bathroom had to be redone.
Mhm.
And got under contract for a great price. And this is probably 2.5 years ago. It's been a minute since then, and the market was really hot at the time. And long story short, this guy's brother ends up fixing the bathroom for us just to help his brother sell the property. And we got a principal of the local elementary in this small town. He was living in a hotel, and he put an over asking price offer in. And we ended up getting, I can't say exactly, it was like a $70,000 or $80,000 spread on it though. And it was like this town we never heard of. And like the guy was qualified with the FHA loan, it passed inspection, everything. Like there was title company issues and everything like that, unfortunately, on that one, but it did get to the finish line. And yeah, the seller actually wasn't mad that we made that amount of money too. He was just happy that everything moved quickly. Yeah, he was it was an interesting situation that kind of blew my mind a little bit, because that was like a wholesale property that we couldn't have sold. You know what I mean? There was no off-market cash buyer for that house. Like the only real buyer was someone that needed a place to live in. And so it was kind of the perfect storm. But yeah, I don't think we might have done like $1,000 or $2,000 worth of work on the house. It was pretty
Wow.
minimal. And a lot of
It's
these deals are
crazy.
like that.
Well, yeah, no, 100%. And it's crazy that you mentioned that the seller actually knew that you made that kind of profit, because most of the times everyone is looking to double close so the seller doesn't find out, because it throws up a bunch of red flags, and then you get, oh, that guy, he scummed me or this or that. He made this much money off of me. And I loved how you were able to have the buyer, I mean, have the seller actually be happy with the whole transaction, even though you guys made a killing. How is there something that you did that resulted to that? Because it doesn't usually go that way.
No, this is a great question. So here's the thing: when people get upset is when they feel lied to, or it's kind of the same thing when someone says they're doing one thing and they're really doing something else, or
Right.
someone says that they'll do something and then they don't do that. So it's like this clash of expectations and reality that causes the problem. The key is being able to really communicate what the value is that you're doing when you are closing the deal. So you're closing it based on the right things. What the core of what the people that end up doing this really want is they're looking for certainty, speed, convenience, and a pleasant experience, and a hands-off white glove service where we deliver the result on a silver platter. That's what they're truly looking for, right? So when we let them know, hey, look, we are going to be reselling this to third party, we're going to negotiate and earn a fee from the buyer. However, whether we make $1 or we make $1 million, you're going to get every single penny of the $454,000 that's on this contract right here. So that is your true net amount. The only thing that comes out of that is going to be any mortgage, prorated taxes, or any other liens attached to the property. So when you can communicate it in a way where they know exactly what's going on, they know we're selling to third party, they know they're getting a net amount, anything above that, after we pay off all the fees and expenses, that's our profit that we negotiated with the buyer. And then we make sure throughout the process that they're happy. We make sure we do anything we can to make it easier for them. We try to go above and beyond and really impress them. Because that's the core of why they're choosing to go this route, right? They're choosing the 5-star service. They're willing to pay a premium as long as they know what they're getting. They're not concerned what's over that, right? And we execute on everything that we say we do. We do it in a timely manner. We lock up the deals in a way where we know, and there's lots of checks and balances. We know what it'll sell for, and we make certain of it. And we don't do deals that we don't think we can complete. You know what I mean? Because it's not fair to them. It's not fair to us either, because we only get paid when the seller gets paid. So if we can't do their deal, we put them in a horrible position, and we're not in a great position on that deal anyways. We're at a net loss of time and energy, opportunity costs. So
It seems like you're only moving whenever you feel really confident that you're going to be able to perform. Right.
absolutely, absolutely. And we have checks and balances too to make sure, because there is a lot of moving parts. Like, in wholesale, just it's the same thing, right? There's unexpected repairs that you weren't told about. Like there's there's all sorts of things that can happen. So
Yeah.
you do have more of a responsibility with these deals, because to do it properly, you need to disclose everything to them. So you have that responsibility to make sure you're at a price that you're confident can get done. And you have to understand too, this person is paying for a good experience. You should really give them a good experience. You owe it to them if you're going to do this type of deal, because a lot of times they're living in the house too.
Mm-hmm. See, you're doing
So
it a little bit differently. Most of these guys, they don't tell them what they're going to do. And I feel like that's where the mess starts to begin happening, you know. And what your key is you focus a lot on transparency. So I think that's where you're building that bond, that trust, and that relationship. So I think that's huge. That's like, you know, you're swinging it out of the ballpark. You're being different that way. And most of these people are thinking that, hey, things are going to go absolutely haywire if I provide too much information. Right. And you're
absolutely.
absolutely just making it crystal clear with them. That's what it seems like. So that's fantastic. I wanted to ask you if so. Let's say if someone is actually getting just started into novations after hearing this whole thing, how can they actually get to their first novation? How can everything just be more smoother instead of them having to do everything on their own and just keep following and going through all the kinds of different hurdles and loops? How can it make it a little bit more simplified and easier for them to get that first deal?
Sure. So the big question a lot of people have is like, how do you determine your offer for innovation, right? Because if we don't know what we can sell it for, we don't know what to offer. And a lot of times people will offer too much, or, so the formula for that is you look at the as is retail price. So what properties that are most similar to the subject property are selling for, and then you want to see how long they're on market. Like ideally you want it to be less than 30 days, because that's our goal, is to move quick. But you can, every market's different. So you need to find the price that it'll sell for in 30 days or less, and then minus 10% for realtor fees, closing costs, and we'll call it miscellaneous expenses. Miscellaneous, so concessions, helping the seller move, things like that. Then minus 30K. So 90% as is retail, minus 30K, that's your max allowable offer. So keeping it at 30K gives you some cushion where if you were wrong on the price, or you have to do a discount or something, there's still enough room for you to make a profit and get the deal done. And of course, you want to negotiate as best as you can, because that's going to empower you to, be able to provide more service, and you have the certainty and the speed, and, obviously it's more profitable to you make your money on the buy, not on the sell.
Right.
It's going to sell for what it's going to sell for. But yeah, your negotiation skills are really important on the front end. So on your first one, honestly, I would get with someone that's done deals that can walk you through it, because there's a lot more moving parts.
100%. Especially with the negotiations and like you said, the moving parts, right? And a really important key factor that you just mentioned right now, the money is made in the whole buying process. That's where all the money is all just made. So I love that you pinpointed that out. What would you do to guide them, have more lead flow? Because if they don't have that many leads coming in, they won't get the chances to go ahead and strike that first one at that right price. And you seem to be conservative, which is amazing. When it comes to buying right and making sure that the deal is really locked in at a nice price. And I think that's what really leads to your home runs. What would you say for them to increase their marketing flow? Because that's what a ton of wholesalers, even myself, have an issue with.
Yeah. So with leads, a few things. Wholesaling is a team sport.
Hmm.
And the longer I've been doing deals, the more I see the value of reaching out and providing value where you can, asking for help where you may need it, and surrounding yourself with good people. So if you have a trouble with lead flow, normally that's a marketing budget issue, because we all have limited funds to some capacity. I would suggest teaming up with other wholesalers, right? Find someone that there's probably someone that has too many leads and is having trouble converting them. And that's what I like initially did when I left Corey's. I had people that were just sending me leads because they had heard my calls in his mastermind. And like I did a ton of JV deals. Like I ran a little bit of my marketing, but like now my business is entirely JV.
Really?
So on the wholesale end, yeah, we do 15 to 20 JV deals right now per month.
That's fantastic. And are you still doing, just your own deals as well, or just strictly off of, just JVs?
It's all JVs. I do private coaching. So that takes a portion of my time. And to be honest, I only work 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. So I might take a call here and there on the weekend, but I have 4 kids. Sorry, someone was calling me.
No,
I have 4 kids and a hot wife. Like it's really like it's important to me, like to live like an interesting, fun life and enjoy my family and everything like that. Like, yes, I can make more money if I worked more, but I'm happy with what I'm doing and what I'm building. And so that, it's just a priority thing. So yes, like direct to seller marketing is much better than just JV. I'm in a little bit of a unique situation, right? To be able to get that many leads
that's
by
awesome.
JV, but there's other people that are doing that you could build a whole business on. So I would just say be open-minded and see what other people are doing and figure out something that's going to fit your lifestyle. Some
Mhm.
people want to build a big business with a big office and have a bunch of people. Some people just want to work from home and just do deals like that. Some people team up with other people that work from home and, have like the little cartel where you're always doing deals with each other and doing it that way. Like there's a lot of ways to win in this game. So you have to find what works for you and don't get stuck in your head that it has to go a certain way. Because if you meet enough people, you'll find people that are doing it in ways that you may have never heard of, where it's a good fit for what they're, wanting out of life, basically. So
Gotcha. Okay. And then what was your way of finding somebody, that, just fit that criteria that you just spoke of right there? So let's say if you had an issue with the lead flow, like back in the day when you did, how did you find your partner, that had the opposite issue where he had too many leads and not enough closers on the team or something of that nature?
this is good. So I went live and posted calls and I put myself out there basically, right? And put out, hey, both with people that I had already met, put out word of mouth, like, hey, I'm looking for leads. If anyone wants to team up, like, so when I left Corey's, I already had people that had heard my calls from being in his mastermind. So I really didn't have to do anything. They kind of came to me. But I would just encourage anybody, like, find out what your superpower is and then find out how you can really dig deep into the thing that you're best at. And that way you can find your thing that you enjoy doing and can do very well. And then the other piece that you'll figure out what pieces you're missing. And some of that you may pick up and some of that you may outsource, through a partnership or, whatever. There's lots of arrangements.
And
Or just get a third-party company to do it. Like, hey, you hate cold calling? Great. Hire some cold callers, have a company that manages it for you and you don't have to do anything. You pay your bread, you get your leads, and that's it. You know what I mean? Your dispo deals, if you hate doing that, get someone that'll do it. Find someone that'll do it for a flat fee. Like we have people out there that, some of these wholesale deals, we don't have a big wholesale buyers list because I've been stuck on novations. I've never really needed one. And he'll wholesale the deal out in like a couple days for a flat fee.
wow.
So
Okay. Yeah. It seems like you're just being most effective with your time where you're really best at, and that's awesome, focusing exactly on that. Everyone wants to, sometimes people want to be cheaper and then just do it all themselves, but they're hurting themselves and they're putting themselves in a little box. Do you agree with that?
absolutely, because I'm super guilty of that. I didn't even have a transaction coordinator until very recently. I was spending a lot of my time dealing with title companies and getting documents and stuff that, one, I'm not good at, and two, I don't enjoy, and three, it's like not a money-making activity, right? Like if I could spend 8 hours a day just talking to sellers, like, I could do so many deals, you know what I mean? And it's a
True.
limiting mindset. But all my friends that are more successful than me, they talk about a lot, like your time is your most valuable thing, and your energy as well. You need to put it in the most useful places. So that's why now I've, eliminated a lot of the things that I wasn't good at or didn't enjoy, or a combination of both. And it gives me more time. And that's like my real core power is communication and sales. So that's why I love the training. I love doing stuff with the community, and I love doing real calls and actually dealing with sellers, because it's my core thing. You know what I mean? So I try to find ways to do more of that and less of the things that I'm not really that good at or don't like. So
Fantastic. Fantastic. I absolutely love it. And, that's one thing that I'm truly working on right now, as well as allocating my time where it's best spent well. Uh, so yeah, that's another thing. Um, did you have like processes set up in place where, hey, I got to this level. Okay, now I need to go hire this many, VAs to go, start cold calling. I'm gonna hit this level, and then I'm gonna go get myself a dispo manager. You know what I mean? So on and so forth. Did you have that kind of like a limiting structure? Or did you just go on, and then, as you hit some hurdles or some points in your business where you're like, okay, I can't take this anymore, I gotta outsource this.
you know, every everything's been kind of really organic. Like I'm not really the type to have like a whiteboard with everything plotted out, right? I kind of fly by the seat of my pants. And like I was doing JV deals, and it got to the point where I was just doing them by myself. It got to the point where more leads were coming in than I could handle. And then so naturally I'm like, well, it would make sense for me to get someone to come in, share the opportunity. I can pay them well. They'll get these hot leads coming in. I want to make sure someone that did my process, right? Because that's something I can stand behind, and that's something I can coach them on. So I just pulled from my community, like put a post out, had some killers reach out, and like I've got 4 people now that are closing deals with me, like with our JV program.
Mhm.
And it's awesome. Like they're killing it. They're killers on the phone. They're making good money. We're making good money. Our JV partners are making good money. We know the sellers are being treated well. We know the deals are making it to the finish line. And like the JV partners, like a lot of them are newer wholesalers. And for some of them, this is like their first deals. We have some people that have done like tons of deals, but they just haven't done that many novations, and they just want to learn and make sure maybe they had a bad experience with one they tried on their own where it fell apart, and they're just looking to link up. So it's cool. Like my philosophy, I just put out like the content of real calls, and like I actually like do the business every single day. So it's easy for me to make content. I just like film myself at work, and that just keeps like attracting people in, because it's kind of, I don't know, there's not a lot of that. I mean, maybe it's out there and I'm just not seeing it, but there's not a lot of like calls, and there's a couple of notable people that are killing it on that. But I just try to keep it all, what I wish I could see like when I was coming up, basically like behind the scenes raw. Like that's what I think people learn from the most.
No, that's definitely interesting. I will definitely take that to heart too. You know what I mean? When I'm closing deals or something like that, just throw it up. But yeah, as far as wealth goes and building in the future plans, what do you plan on growing your company out to, or what are your plans for future wealth?
Um, there's a few things. So growing the community is really important for me, because I think, for the industry, for all of us, the benefit of any network, the more you can grow it, the more powerful it becomes and more valuable it becomes for all the members. So that's one thing that I'm really focused on. There's a couple softwares that I'm working with some people on too, and I think that's fantastic. Like providing tools that I can stand behind and I know like are actually effective, that I use in my business. I think that's awesome, because that's like a one-to-many opportunity, and it's that's what I'm I'm really focused on is just gaining more freedom of my time.
Right.
That because that, I mean, that's honestly like the most important thing to me is my freedom of time. So I look for ways where I can serve more people, reach more people, and grow, what it is we're doing, and provide more opportunity. Like I would love to have 100 closers helping us with JV deals, and we're like the top novation acquisition house in the country, right? So that would be awesome, and I think I've got great people in place to, where the potential's there. So I don't know. I'm kind of seeing, I don't even know what I'm gonna have for dinner tonight. You know what I mean? I don't plan that far ahead. I just try to keep doing the next right thing. That's my big thing. So
I gotcha. No, yeah, 100%. I met a multimillionaire in the rehab industry yesterday, and he said that he just takes things one day at a time, and he just gives it his all, and he's so passionate about what he does. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get him on any kind of social media or anything like that. He likes to stay like super, low key, but he's just saying that, everything comes by the heart, and everything is coming naturally. He just gives it his all every single day that he's living, like it's his last day on planet Earth. And everything just is falling into place really well as he's just really passionate about what he does. So that's fantastic. Some people like to plan out, and some people like to just give it their 100%. And it seems like you're one of those guys.
yeah, that's me for sure.
That's awesome. As far as like you learning in your learning phase of getting to where you are right now, is there any books or any resources that you would be able to share that would really help somebody out trying to become like yourself?
So there's two main books
Mhm.
that kind of I read at the right times and kind of shifted my perspective on some things. Actually three. So of course, Think and Grow Rich.
Mhm.
That was kind of the first mindset growth type book I'd been formally introduced to.
Mhm.
Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill is another good one. Um, and then the third one is Be Obsessed or Be Average by Grant Cardone.
Mhm.
So that was a book I had to read from Sean Terry when I started working there. It's one of the requirements. Everyone that worked there had to read Be Obsessed or Be Average. And yeah, it was a book I really enjoyed. I like that mindset of charging forward and giving it your all and over delivering. I'm an all or nothing type of guy. Like you can see, like with tattoos, I'm either going to be covered with tattoos or I'm going to have zero tattoos. So anything I do, I really go all in. So that's why I have to make sure I direct my energy to positive things, because that can be a positive, or if I turn that energy in the wrong direction, I can go real bad real fast. You know what I mean? So it talked about that in that book. And I think that's an important lesson, because a lot of people, the things that they think are character flaws can actually be assets if you just redirect it in a different direction. You know what I mean? And yeah, that's one thing I love about wholesaling is a lot of the people that wholesale come from all different types of backgrounds, from professional backgrounds, not professional backgrounds, everything in between. But it's just such a lucrative opportunity that literally it doesn't matter where you are, as long as you can speak English, and you have an internet connection and a telephone, you have the opportunity to make crazy money. Like that would be very difficult to do any other way, especially legally. Like so it's beautiful. I'm blessed that I fell into the opportunity and that I persevered and didn't give up all the times I wanted to. So, anyone out there struggling that's new, just know, like, if you keep pushing, you keep learning, keep connecting with people, you will get deals, and it's beautiful. So
They got no excuse. They got no excuse anymore. And even if they wanted to get into this, they didn't have a place to go to. Is there a place that they could go to you? Maybe even join some of your courses, and maybe even get a chance to join your team.
so someone's brand new, right? For almost everyone, I would recommend working for an established wholesaler that's actively doing deals. I
Mhm.
give that advice because that's what I did and it worked for me. You know what I mean? So there's a million ways to do it, But I think for most people, right, because you need some money to start, and it's going to take some time and some pain, unless you're in the position where you can hire a reputable mentor that's going to walk you from A to Z on how to set everything up. For most people, working for someone else will make more sense. But yeah, if you're just starting out, so for my team, like unfortunately, like I'm not in a position where I train like brand new people. Like, there's new people that take my course for the acquisitions end, but it's not like an intro to wholesaling course. Like I don't teach you how to market. But once you get the leads in, I can pretty much teach you everything from that point on. But it's also not like a how to structure your business course. I want to keep it very laser focused at what I'm good at, right? And that's the communication aspect. And that's where it focuses on there. But yeah, I would just invite, if someone's new, connect with people that are active in your area and figure out how you can get involved with them and how you can learn from them and add value to what they're doing, call their dead leads, whatever you need to do. But just realize like there's a big education hurdle it's going to take before you can get dangerous at it. And you may as well learn that while you're earning money and not having to figure out the basics from scratch. Learn that from someone that you can work for and do the grunt work that they don't want to do, or fall into their team if they already have an active team. So
Man, I can't stop nodding my head right now. I agree with every little thing that you're saying. That's fantastic. It took me such a long time to even get my first deal. So I get where you're coming from. It's not just a lot of people portray it to be as like a get rich quick kind of a thing. And it's anything but that. You know what I mean? And the people that are actually successful in it, and have seen money from it, they know that that's actually the case. Maybe someone can get lucky here and there and cool, but most of it's luck isn't repeatable. You know what I mean? It's grind. It's practice. You know what I mean? And it's definitely a skill. So that's what I've noticed, and you pointed that out well, and that's great. And even that's how I got into this whole world of wholesaling real estate too. I started basically working for someone that was doing 2 to 3 deals a month, and he wanted to take his wholesale operation to the next level, where he started gathering on a team. And then that's where I basically entered my way into this whole world of wholesaling. So that's fantastic, man. How can everybody find you? And if anyone wants to get in touch with you, look at your content, things like that, or even just see what you're doing. Or you mentioned like you taking videos of you even cold calling, or even closing deals, things like that. How can they get in touch with that?
So the main platform that I post my calls and everything like that is Instagram. And my Instagram's at Novation King. Just at Novation King, all one word. I have a YouTube channel, also Novation King. Novationking.com is where you can get the Rainmaker acquisition course. Join the community. The community right now, you get a lifetime membership when you get the course. And then to JV with us is novationjv.com. And we split the deal 40-60, so 60 for us. You don't need it under contract already. If it's falling in or around that box we talked about, 90% of as is minus 30K, or if it's just a very motivated seller in a good area, submit it. One of us will reach out normally within a day, and we'll walk you through the whole deal, and we'll lock it up and help you sell it the whole nine. So
awesome, Richard. Thank you so much, man. I loved having you on here. I'm sure you've taught so many people that are going to be watching, and the audience that don't know what a novation is, or didn't know what a novation was before today. So thank you so much for having you on here, and it was a pleasure speaking to you, man. Thank you so much.
thank you, brother. Yep.